Hello and welcome. My name is Teresa. Did you by any chance purchase the Scottie Dog Punch? It was available in the mini catalog, but this is over. So if you didn't get this punch, do you have any other animal punch that you might like to use? Perhaps you have the Easter rabbit or the penguins. Anyhow, I'm going to show you what I did. I took this Scottie Dog Punch and I created not one, not two, but 3 Valentine's Day cards. I think they're super adorable, and I'm going to show you today. Let's go ahead and get started. I can put this punch off to the side. The first one I want to show you is a card that I think would be super cute for a couple, or even if you know, maybe a first Valentine's Day card for a set of twins. Take a look at this. Isn't that adorable? Let me show you how I did it. First thing I did is I took a piece of paper, white cardstock, measures 8.5 by 5.5, and fold it in half or scored it at 4 1/4. I did layer it even though it's white, but I wanted a little extra oomph to it. So we're going to layer this, the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and put that down. I should have done this ahead of time because in order to get 3 cards made in a fairly short amount of time, I think I'm going to have to be pretty fast. Keep in mind, even if you don't have the Scottie Dog Punch, I believe you can tweak this design for any of the other animal punches you might have. Okay, now to layer it up on the outside, I took a piece, this is the smoky slate. You can use any other color, but I chose the smoky slate. I can go ahead and apply this one. Again, I use the Stampin' Seal Plus on all 4 sides. I know some people like to use the Tombow glue. That is fine as well. Some people just put a couple of strips. It really is a matter of your preference. Making sure I'm putting this on the right piece. I tend to eyeball it at the base and then just let the card fall where it may. This next layer, that's a piece of white cardstock. This measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. Nope, I'm lying. This measures 3 3/4 by 5. Sorry about that. And using this hearts embossing folder, what I did is I just put the cardstock where I wanted it, and I chose this, but you can put it anywhere on it and then just run it through your embossing, your Big Shot, and we can even go ahead and apply this. So far, this is probably the easiest of the 3 cards. Doesn't require a whole lot of technique at all, really none. There's absolutely 0 stamping to it. The biggest challenge is making sure you're putting your layers on in the correct direction. Again, I just let it fall down that way. Now, I have some scrap black paper here, and we just need to punch out 2 Scottie dogs. So let me go ahead and get this ready. And I'm really only going to just punch out one because I have one off to the side and I don't want to waste my paper. So I have one already pre-punched, so I have 2 of them. And this is where you can have your choice. You can use whatever paper you want. I wanted to stick with a more pastel color, and I had some leftover designer series paper. This is Christmas holiday paper from a few years ago, but I thought that it would work very well here too. So let me just go ahead and grab some pink. Oh, we'll take it from here. So I'm just trying to pull in a pink color. And then I want blue, and I know the whole back side is all blue. It doesn't matter if it's a Christmas tree, it's all right. The hardest part I think right now is finding the 2 bows. Getting rid of this leftover. There we go. And if you have one of these pinchy tools, these things come in handy. I'm going to go ahead. Why did I push that off to the side? I don't know. Using some Tombow glue, let's apply some to the back of the Scottie dog. I mean, can you see now? Just doing 2 with the blue, 2 with the pink. My other thought was, well, maybe you want to give it to a couple that just got married this year, and he might be a fan of one sports team and the spouse might be a fan of a different sports team. Wouldn't it be fun to make the bows in the colors for each person? So let's say maybe you have a Steelers fan and a Ravens fan. That's what we have with our kids. Well, that's what they used to like. So I could have, chosen those colors if I wanted to. I'm going to make their little noses touch, I think. Let's go ahead. That's the nice thing about the Tombow glue. We have a little positioning. See how it's going to be just a little different? Why not? Show you some options. And I'm going to do, oh, that would even be cute, but I want the pink. So I want to put the blue on the back here. I'm going to mix it up because, again, why not? It's opportunity to show and take a peek at a different layout, a different look. Then you can decide what it is you want. Let me just put that there. I'm going to move this to suit my needs. Press that a little bit. Then I'm going to use my punch. I have just a little heart punch. I do have a video out about how I do some storage, and you'll see that I use this. I want a pink one. So let's just continue with where I'm grabbing the color anyway. Punch out a pink, and then I want a coordinating blue. Oh, I might just do it that way. So switching it up, let's put the blue dot. And this time, instead of the solid blue, I'm going to just use the color, the side that has a little bit of blue and a little bit of green. And we're going to position that right above. You can turn your card around, whatever works best for you. It's your craft time. All right, little glue dot here. And place that right above. Isn't that adorable? And yes, I do want to add my bling. Bling, 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 bling. There we go. There's the tool. Let's grab a couple of these. Let me make sure I'm in camera shot. That is a challenge for me. Pick that up and just do 2. What do you think? Isn't that adorable? Isn't that cute? I'm going to go ahead and enlarge it real quick for you so you can take a screenshot if you want. Move it that way, Teresa. Go ahead and do a screenshot. Click. Don't worry, I'll give you an opportunity to take another screenshot at the end. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and move on to card number 2. And this one is a little bit more involved, so bear with me as I go through it. But isn't that cute? For this one, we're using real reds. Let me go ahead and get everything ready for you. You want a piece of real red cardstock. Again, measures 8.5 by 5.5. Fold it in half on the 8.5 or score it at 4 1/4. I have an insert. Do you remember what the dimensions are for my inserts? 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm really just coming in 1/4 of an inch. So just barely a hint of the red will peek around. Isn't that cute? I eyeball at the bottom, let it fall in place. There we go. Now, to layer this up, we do need some basic gray cardstock. The first piece is 3 3/4 by 5, and we're going to layer that with a piece of white that measures 3.5 by 3 3/4. I'll go through cutting it out in just a second. I'm using some retired designer series paper. This was from Christmas, I think 2 years ago. This was from the gingerbread and peppermint set. I chose it because of the real red. Use whatever color that you want for the background. This measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, mostly just so it continues that layering effect. Then we need some scrap papers, and we'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about, move that over to the side. Let's talk about getting these punches just right. I'm using my stitched shapes. This is retired, that's why it has that green dot, but if you have any round punches, that will work. The largest one I'm going to need to use on the white, and then the second largest I'm going to use on that basic gray cardstock. So let's get this out of the way. Now, a couple of things I wanted to show you. Let me reach over here, pardon me. This one was cut to where it's almost like a crescent moon. Do you see that? And that's how I'm going to do it for you. And then I'm going to show you a different way. Teresa, leave the suspense. So the biggest one's going to go on the white. And I eyeball where I want it, okay? And let me just see if you can see. When I say line it up close, I want it even closer to where it barely comes off the white. Do you see that little mark there? That's what I'm talking about. So I will place that where I want it. I'm eyeballing. I think it looks nice. It has room for the sentiment down there. And then take that over and we'll run that through the big shot. And I'm not going to do that legit right here, but instead I've already pre-done it. Then what I chose to do is I want these edges to line up. So to me that was important to get that lined up. And I'm trying to line it up to where the top and bottom is pretty even as well, at least even to the naked eye. If you feel you have to measure it, feel free. I'm just going by how I think it looks. Okay? Now, for mine to have this moon effect, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line it up to where it just barely peeks off. And you can see we've got that effect going on. I'm going to show you what to do. Now, if you want it a different way, I will show you that in a second. Make sure I come back to that. But anyhow, I would then take this over, punch it out, and you'll wind up with something like this. Okay? And we're going to continue on, but make sure I come back to that other effect, at least show it to you. For this, I want a little bit of movability, so I am actually going to apply, I know, shock, right? A thin layer of my Tombow glue. Don't go too thick and don't go too close to the edges. You don't want it to seep out. Take it from someone who has done that enough times to know. In this instance, do what I say. Hopefully I'll do it. Hopefully I won't go too close to the edge and ruin this card. These cards are all have a home. We have a local cat rescue here, and they have like a little shop where they sell some stuff. So this will all be donated so they can sell these and make some money for the cat rescue. Now, I should have figured this out first, but I'm going to be on the fly. I want to line this side up to where it's really as even as I can. I'm trying not to lean into this because I don't want my head in your shot. See, just like that. See, do you see how it's coming together? Now, when we apply this to the back of this, I can use tape, but you want to be careful. You can either put tick marks here or something to where you know, don't put any adhesive here because we're going to be applying it this way, right? So for this, I am going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus. I'm going to run it along 3 sides, close to the edge, but not going over. And then for this side, I'm going to do the reverse, and I'm going to apply a thin layer of glue along here. Can you see that? And along here. And I'm going to apply another thin layer, really thin, just for extra support around my little circle opening. Now for here, this is the side that's no adhesive. I'm going to line it up again. And I do have some wiggle room. The thing is I want this to look continuous. So you want to get as close as possible. And then I can apply it. And there you go. So while that sets up for a second, well, I guess I don't have that. I didn't realize I'd done it ahead of time. Go ahead and put a strip of your Stampin' Seal Plus, or you could do the Tombow glue if you're a Tombow glue person. That is fine. That will work. I'm going to add just an extra little layer down the center because I'm really building up this card and I want some added support. And again, I'm going to eyeball it just down around the bottom. Boom. See? Now, for the dog, using some scrap paper. I don't have any of them pre-cut. I'm going to go ahead and punch out a dog. Come on, get it in there. See? And I have so many of the bows that I don't need. I don't even know where it went. Oh, it's over there. And this time, I took a scrap sheet of the real red and I pre-cut it. And I am going to, I just had it. I'm going to line up the bow where I want it, and I'm going to punch that out. Okay, and that fell on me. Then what I did is, you don't have to use this. This is retired. This is the messages. I cut out a piece down here. Again, the real red is embossed. They're embossed with the Swiss dots, and that's what I chose. Now, for the sentiment, I looked through my handy-dandy binder, and I haven't shown you all this, but this, I think, is easier to look through than trying to read all my containers sideways. So I went through that, and I found this sentiment, and it happens to be part of the Thanks a Bunch. This is new. Get in touch with your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I just used some basic gray ink, stamped it, and then using this same messages, I used this punch right here to punch that out. So now we're ready to assemble, and we are almost done. I like the raised dot section to be out, so I'm going to apply glue just a little bit here and here. And let's get it applied to our Scottie dog. And I chose red because I thought it coordinated. I liked the way it looked. These little handy dandy things. And since I have the Tombow glue out and ready to go, well, I hope I didn't put too much. And I am going to maybe shake it up a bit. I think I'll put it here instead, just a little different. Every card, even if you do mass production of cards like this, where it's all kind of the same, you don't have to make every single one exactly the same. You can be a little different. Oh, and I was going to show you the circle thing. Hold on, let me show you one other thing. Because these look like the phases of the moon, the way I did them. You can do something different. I'm going to hold this upside down just to apply it. And I think I want his little nose to come out a little. And give that just a second to start adhering. Now, my Love You is going to be raised on some stamping dimensionals. Just going to use 2 for that one. You know, I'm looking for my pick tool. Who knows where it is? I'm looking while I'm doing this to see. Oh, I can get it. And of course you can. I don't have my acrylics on today, my natural nails. And I'm just going to eyeball that. Drop it and place it. So that's card number 2. Now I did want to tell you about the outside of this card. See, these look like moons, but you can also get it to where you have an even around. So let me put that one in the middle. I will go ahead and enlarge it so you can take a picture of it if you want. Get this stuff out of the way. And we have one more card to go. And it's the one that's probably going to be the most involved. There you go. This way you can see the 2 different types of circles. Go ahead and get your screenshot. Okay, and there'll be an opportunity at the end to take a screenshot of all 3 cards. Now for the last card. Let me move that off to the side. This one, clear the decks. Clear the decks. Give me just a minute. Here we go. Okay, this card has the most going on. We've got some techniques. We're going to do some embossing. Hopefully you'll like it. It should be pretty darn good. I'm all ready for you. So let's go through what we need. The base card is basic gray, and it measures, again, say it with me, 8.5 by 5.5. Fold it in half or score it at 4 1/4. The inside layer, we should have this memorized, 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to apply that down, get that out of the way. Stampin' Seal Plus. Okay, and get it all 4 sides. Oh, missed a little there, that's all right. Let me get that applied down. Boom. And then we can start building up our layers. Now, where's the one piece I need? I always have this stuff prepped, and then I get on camera and boom, where'd it go? Okay, I don't see that I cut my blush, but that's the first layer. So if it's a first layer, it's got to be 5 1/4 by 4 inches. So we're going to cut the 4 inch first. Toss that off to the side and then cut it at 5 1/4. This is layer number 1. So we have that done. Hopefully I have the next piece done. Oh. Now if I did this right, yes, so we're going to layer in. So that was 4 by 5 1/4. Our white piece is 3 3/4 by 5, and I did emboss that with the Cuttlebug Swiss dots. Big fan of the Cuttlebug Swiss dots. I can go ahead and apply this right now. There's no need in waiting. Get that down. And let's get this applied to here. Again, I tend to look at the bottom and just let it fall where it may. We can go ahead and get this applied to the card. Look at it coming along. What do you think of the gray and pink? Here's a little fun fact for you, or a boring fact. You never know. Do you remember the TV show Designing Women? Well, the one character that Delta Burke played, I want to say her name was Suzanne Sugarbaker. Well, she came out one time wearing baby pink and gray. It was a shirt, a sweater, and a skirt combination, and I've been a fan of that ever since. So, a little fun fact. Okay, now, Stitch So Sweetly is retired, but don't let that stop you. You just need some rectangles. With the largest rectangle, I punched out a piece of the basic gray. Then with the next largest, I punched out a piece of the Blushing Bride, which we have to do something with. And I also had some scrap Blushing Bride that I ran through with this quatrefoil embossing folder. This is current. Get yourself one. Let's move all this away because now it's time to make a mess. Using any background block that you have. This one is in a script. It's says 2000 from Stampin' Up. I am pretty certain that was acquired at a consignment shop type of thing. Look at this, I'm getting ready. Serious stuff here. If you have your embossing buddy, this is like an anti-static thing. Just wipe it over your cardstock. This will help keep it from any of the embossing powder from sticking where you don't want it to stick. I need to get one more thing. Pardon me while I reach over you. I want my white embossing powder. All right, so I'm good to go. Using some Versamark, I'm just going to ink up the center of it and really get that on there. I'm hoping this works. Well, it will. But I'm going to show you something that you probably shouldn't do because my table has some bend. Usually you might want to do it this way. I'm going to do it a little risky. And since I'm not going to lean over it because you're there, it's going to be super risky. But putting it down, then I'm just going to use a block to apply pressure. Get those edges. Don't move it. I mean, I could really mess up doing it this way. This could have been a really bad idea. But if I had just pressed it down, I don't think I would have gotten the coverage that I really need. Now, using these, I'm going to place this where there's no embossing going on. Let's go ahead and get out this. Isn't that pretty? This, I know you're going to ask, but you can get these at craft stores and stuff. I honestly don't know. Oops. Whose this belongs to. Otherwise, I would tell you. Ooh, look at that coverage. Yes. All right, let's be careful. I want to get it on all of the sides. Boom. This is not the most elegant way I'm doing it. And I'm going to have this sparkle everywhere. That's why I wanted to do this one last. You either love this stuff or you hate it. It's kind of like glitter. You either love it or you hate it. Now, I do really want to hold this with this, so I'm just going to try to stick it right in there where there's nothing. It's going to get noisy for a second. I'm going to got to get my heat tool. This is by Nicole. I picked it up at my local craft show. Not show, store. Go ahead and get it heated up. I want to hold this to where you can see the magic happen. Is that close enough? I think so. Hopefully you'll see it. This is the fun part. Although with this color, it might not be as noticeable. There we go. Do you see it changing color? It's got to get just hot enough. Of course, this thing hasn't been brought out near enough. I find I either do a lot of embossing or I steer clear of it. There we go. I got pretty good coverage. Got it. Not perfect, but not bad. Let me see. There we go. And let me move that off to the side. Pardon me while I do that. What do you think? It's okay if that one section is not completely perfect. It'll be all right. So now we can bring this piece back over. We can go ahead. I'm going to give that just a second. You know what? While that just takes a little extra drying time, let's go ahead and get our Scottie dog punched out. I should have pre-punched a bunch. By now you know exactly what I'm doing. Did you see where that bow flew off? And then I want to just punch out the bow. I just try to find where I think I like the pattern. And punch that out. Keep that. Using a piece of white cardstock, I found this one. This one comes from Love You Mean It. Where's my set? There it is. This is from the Very Best Occasions, and I chose Love You Mean It. That was a saying that one of the bosses at my job, who's since retired, she used to say that all the time. So this card could actually go to a coworker, friend of mine. But anyhow, that's good and dry to the touch. Let's apply some. I think I'm going to do the glue because I want to make sure I get this lined up very well. Oh, come on, glue. Did you see how I had it stored? So now it doesn't want to come out. Again, don't go too close to the edge. I think I might be a little too heavy-handed, but that's all right. While that does that, I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue here. I know I'm not using the pinchers. I'm trying to rush. I should not rush. This is, oh, see, should not have rushed. Look at that. Ugh. That's all right. That's all right. I might put a piece of bling there. Now I got to wait for the glue to dry on my hands. I mucked it up. Well, all right, pay attention to which way is up and which way is down. See, now I have just a little bit of wiggle room if I need to. And just apply a little bit of pressure, give that a second. My love, you mean it. While I'm giving this just a second to dry, I'm going to use these flat adhesive back pearls. I like that iridescent shine. I thought it coordinates really, really well with this pink, this Blushing Bride. What do you think of the Blushing Bride and the gray? What do you think of the cards? What do you think of making Valentine's Day cards out of a Scottie punch? Hello? I mean, why not? Why not? Does that look even? Up, 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 up. Sorry, I hope it's on in camera for you. That might not be perfect after all. Oh, well, it's gonna go. It's gonna go. Now let's put some glue. I'll do that this way. On the Scottie dog. Again, I can really see some cute things with the penguins. What about the hedgehog? The bunny, we have a new bunny punch that's out for this time of year. That would be super cute. You can put him wherever you want him. I'm going to take him off. I'm going to drop him. Give that just a quick second. I am going to raise this with some stamping dimensionals. 2 of them. 1, 2. I still haven't seen the pick tool. Oh, there it is. Now I see it. You should see. I just throw that. I'll pick it up after the after I finish filming. You could put it this way. You could put it that way. There we go. I like it just at a little. You can add a sweet little bow down there if you wanted to. I mean, the options, the sky's the limit when it comes to it. I'm going to use these smaller ones. We're going to put 2 of them on here. There we go. And let's just put a 3rd one right down here. Let me start, putting all this stuff out of the way. That way you can take a screenshot. I'm going to go ahead and enlarge it for this one. There we go. I think I have enough room to get all 3 in. Go ahead and take a screenshot of that one. You know what? Maybe not that one. That has the glue dot in the center. Sorry, I don't like that. This is better. That glue dot will dry, but until it does. Then let's do this one. And then I'll stand up and make sure it fits in. And then this guy. Oh, Teresa. All right, sorry. I want you to be able to screenshot all of them in. I know. But anyhow, hope you liked them. Hope you get out your punches, whether it's the Scottie dog or whatever. Doesn't matter which one. Oh, Teresa, that's just, no, never mind. And make yourself some Valentine's Day cards. Chances are you don't have as many to make as you did with your Christmas cards, so why not repurpose some of those things that you purchased to make your Christmas cards? That's what I say. Oh, I threw these off to the side. So what if, thinking ahead, what if you have, look, you didn't have the designer series paper. You could use, like I said, the Blushing Bride or even the Balmy Blue. All right, Teresa, stop. This is getting way too long. Anyhow, hope you liked the video. Hope you learned something. Till next time, happy stamping. Oh, and subscribe. Thank you.